Welcome to Duluth Junction Workshop. I'm Tyler. In this episode, I'm going to prep the Sonett for a new trunk floor. Let's take a look at that old trunk floor. It's pretty nasty. You got a huge hole over here where the battery used to be, and it's actually crusty all the way to each corner, comes back, and it's actually porous all the way to the back here. Now normally you have the battery, the spare tire back here, and then there's a piece of masonite or MDF that goes over the top here to close it off. Luckily, I have a nice floor replacement kit with these L sections. Those will go around the edges to clean those up. Additionally, the exhaust is actually solid mounted through the floor right now with this little bolt here. So that's going to have to come out, and I will start to plan what I'm going to do for a new exhaust. I'm going to start by cutting this floor out so I can stand in there and work. On the back of the trunk floor, we have a line of small bolts that clamp this piece together with a strip on the bottom. I'm going to try to get these bolts out manually and hopefully not have to cut it, because I don't want to have to work on this if I don't have to. Alright, I got that out. That actually clamps the fiberglass body in underneath the floor. All the bolts came out perfectly. It's a 3/8 on top, 5/16 on the bottom, and looking pretty good to me. I'm glad I caught it now because this flange is starting to look pretty bubbly. But otherwise, looks pretty solid. I think it's just to clean up and repaint that part. Do have some issues around here. There's a flange. You can see kind of where my finger is in there. Got a little sidetracked, please bear with me. I am working on like 3 different videos right now. So today I got my fuel tank out of the Sonett. That's sitting over here. This is actually the fuel tank out of the parts car, so this is a desert fuel tank. It was pretty dry, only got a little bit of gunk out of it, thankfully. I will be doing a video on restoring fuel tanks. I'll do probably 2 Sonett tanks and 1 F600 tank. Keep an eye out for that in the future. And the next step is to go around this flange, get all this extra metal off here, get that cleaned off, and then work through that flange and see what's actually there, see what's real metal, see what's not. I have to keep in mind that the battery goes up in the corner here, and I'm planning on going with an AGM battery, so it's a little bit less likely to kind of spill and all that crap. Then the spare tire goes in here as well. I'm going to be building a new exhaust for it, and that's going to come up right through the middle, so I have to hang exhaust hanger somewhere where this stool is right now. All right. I did go and look inside the trunk here, and I measured the sides of the trunk. So those are on this little card. So I know kind of where to put things in the future. I'm not sure they're entirely perfect, but it's going to give me a good start, and I can see how it fits in. I am going to remove the flanges inside the trunk. I couldn't think of any good reason that the trunk floor has to be at 1/8 of an inch up or down from where it is. So not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to put a trunk in it, and it'll have a trunk, and if it needs to be redone sometime in the future, then, you know, so be it. But until then, I'm trying to get this thing done. Let's get in there and keep grinding. Pretty amazing. We actually still, I don't know if you can see that, we still have a little bit of moss left in this car. That's coming out. I've gotten the whole flange here taken care of. There are a couple pieces in the corners that I'm going to get from the underneath. but I've noticed that there is a little bit of a flange still here. It looks like the sheet metal from the floor actually went and bent down to be attached to a flange from the side. So I'm not sure if I'll be trying to weld upside down here. It looks like a pain in the butt. However, it might be easier than trying to weld a flange along these indents all along the side. I would also have the opportunity to give it a new tow hitch or a tow hook if I want to replace that. My current plan is to mount a tow hook in through the regular bumper mount here, which will allow it to attach to the chassis quite securely and stick out of the hole that's already in the body. So I might not want to keep that little flange there, but I'll figure out what I'm going to do there. So I'm going to try to bend that down and see what it looks like, and maybe see if I can clean up that flange and take that off. I got this flange coming off in pieces. I heard someone say that these were spot welded in, so that's kind of apparent having spot welds, you know, every so often. And then the centers between those have nothing in them. So if you can get between the spot welds, you can pry it out, and it's looking pretty good so far. I'm underneath the car right now. I'm finding that I have the same spot weld stuff around the rear apron, so I can start to pry that up a little bit and then take it off from there. And then along the side here, I've also got pieces like here where I can pry up and cut that and then pull it open again, and it makes it a lot easier than just trying to pull piece by piece. So working on that, and I wish I had a lift. If someone wants to give me $2,000, go for it, but I'm gonna struggle under here until it's done. I've had such an issue trying to get the angle grinder in this tight place. We have the rear apron of the car, this fiberglass here that I don't want to touch, but I still need to get all this stuff cleaned up. So got some cutting wheel stuff for this zippy zap, and I'm going to see if I can take that stuff off cleanly. All right. The Zippy Zap uses a little bit too much air for the preferences of my little donut air compressor. But I got the edges cleared up here. You can see all the flanges are gone along the whole side, along the whole front, along this side. And you'll have to trust me, they're gone under here too. I'm not gonna contort myself. So now I'm going to change over to my grinding bit on this and clean up all these little pieces like this, and this, and this, and all this stuff along the edges, and just make that nice clean bare metal so I can start to work from that. I got that kind of loose rust cleaned up on those, also on the front. So I'm going to take some rust fix and just convert that. Hopefully that helps it a little bit before I'm able to get to the welding. But it's pretty well cleaned up in here. It's still really wavy, so I'm going to have to make that flatter. And then in the corners there are these big kind of clumps of steel. That's kind of weird. And then we have some weather strip, or the seam sealer in the corners that I'll have to take care of as well. So a little bit to do. I'm going to pull the bumper out as well, and then I'll be able to recoat this entire area, and we'll get the rest of it done. So you're going to pull your US bumper off your Sonett, yanked on your rusty nuts for about 20 minutes. Are you ready to pull it out? Wait, there's more. Check out, there are 2 more bolts that hold the bumper mount to the body, and they come on in here. Make sure you get those out or you'll rip your fiberglass really bad. Ask me how I know. Come here, hon. Come here. You're getting tired, aren't you, hon? I know I said I was going to take this bumper off, but it's not coming off. It's stuck. I'll have to come back to that later. Dang it. I got to keep it moving. I got my metal work kind of completed here. Let me show you. I've got all my edges cleaned up. I've got the old spot rivets taken out, and everything's ground pretty flat. Then I put rust fix over it to stop the rust that was already there. I did notice there is a bit of pitting in some areas, so that'll be something that will be a concern. I want to make sure that that's all taken care of. I do want to get to this stuff in the future because there is a little bit of paint coming up where some fuel spilled. I've also got the rear end cleaned up a little bit. I've got some pitting and a little bit of metal work to do, but I think once I get the new flanges in, it'll be all right. I got the bottom of that apron cleaned up as well, but it's really hard to get in there with that fiberglass body dipping under. If anyone's done this repair before and they know a trick to keeping that body away from the tools or the paint or whatever it is, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to find out because I don't want to mess up the fiberglass apron in there. I've already nicked it a couple times with the sander, so I'm hoping I don't make it worse with the paint process. Speaking of the paint process, check what I got. I picked up some rust remover from Menards, which is a Home Depot kind of store in the Midwest. I got a Pour 15 cleaner degreaser and then the Pour 15 itself. This is a 3-step solution that Pour 15 recommends. They sell their own rust remover, but I figured I'd get it locally. So this one basically is a acid etch, and it takes down a layer of material on the outside of the metal. That gets rid of all the rust along with I think it takes paint off and stuff. And then this one will get rid of all the rust remover. And then the last one, of course, is the coat of protective stuff. So we'll get into that in the next video. Keep an eye out for that. If you're still watching, thank you for tuning in. I realize this video might be a little boring. There's a lot of grinding and stupid stuff, but this is a big project, and I literally bought my first welder this winter. I did my first welding project, and I've never done any metal work before. So this is a big process for me, getting over that hump of pulling out the bad metal and figuring out how the car was constructed in the first place helped me get over a lot of that fear that I had going into it. So this first video is part of a learning experience for me of what am I doing? How do you do this? So if you have any tricks or tips, throw them in the comments. Let me know, because I'd love to hear ways to make this easier and better. I see a lot of you are from Sweden and Norway and Scandinavia. If you are, hello from the US, and thank you for building these great cars, because I can't wait to get this back on the road. Tune in next time. Next video on this project, I'll be hopefully laying in those the flanges and getting the new sheet metal prepped in there. Thank you for watching. I got a couple other random videos coming up, so if you like what you see and you've liked the things I've put up before, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll be here. I'll keep doing stuff. I got too much to do, so I will be making videos of stupid stuff in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching. Press on.